here. I am hoping to shed some light on the retraining process. I just recently completed it myself and I know that it can be a little difficult. So I am going to give some information specifically for voluntary retraining for first-term airmen. So if you are a first-term airman and you're interested in retraining, first and foremost, please do not yet re-enlist. Wait until you have completed the retraining process. Keep your first-term airman benefits as long as possible. Get that retraining approved. As soon as you re-enlist, you are a career airman, and retraining is not impossible, but much more difficult for you. Specifically for those of you in shortfall AFSCs, looking at you, Korean linguists, and Chinese linguists. Re-enlist later. If you are interested in retraining, the first thing that you need to do is go to MyPers, click on retraining on the left-hand column, and then click on this first-term airman retraining link. That will take you to this page, and it will help you identify your retraining window. So it's slightly different for CONUS versus OCONUS airmen. For those of us overseas, our window opens 9 to 15 months prior to our DEROS. Now, it's difficult sometimes to get that window to line up with the correct fiscal year retraining. If you're having any issues with that, please speak with your career assistance advisor. It is possible to retrain outside of your window, but to apply you need an exception to policy, and it's just much more difficult. So be nice to yourself, know your window, and apply within the 9 to 15 months prior to your DEROS. Now, after you've identified your window, you need to identify the jobs that you are interested in, and that can be found on the retraining advisory. Now, the retraining advisory lists all of those jobs each fiscal year that have an in quota or they need people to fill those positions. So come over here, identify the fiscal year, and you need to make sure that the job that you're looking at has an objective in. Now, especially for the first-term airman, because that's what you're going to be looking at. Now, if you were to apply for this job right here, where there's 0 first-term airman quotas, then obviously you would be denied and you'd be wasting that choice. So if you apply for those that require more first-term airmen, you have a higher shot of getting accepted into that career field. Now, if you hover over the AFSC, it will actually give you the duty title. And then if you hover over the advisory notes over here to the right, it will give additional requirements or specify the requirements to apply for that specific job. Now, pay special attention to these, because if you apply for a job that you don't qualify for, again, you're going to be denied and you're just going to be wasting that choice. For instance, if you go down to the medical jobs, the 4N jobs, we'll look at Advisory Note 111. Now, for this one, retraining in is restricted to other medical AFSCs. So unless you are currently filling a medical AFSC, then you can't even apply for that job. Now, you can come over here and read the actual advisory notes. It gives all of those codes that we were just looking at without having to hover or click on them. Now, you've identified the AFSCs that maybe you're interested in. You can also take a look at the retraining shortfall requirements list. These are those undermanned jobs that are historically more difficult to fill than the other AFSCs. So if you apply for these and you meet all the requirements, you have a better shot of getting accepted into that. But again, don't apply for anything that you're not actually interested in doing. Now, some of these jobs are these 1 alphas or career enlisted aviators, or those combat jobs, and a couple others, linguists. All right, now, let's say you've identified the AFSCs that you're interested in, but you would like to know more about them. You can go to the Air Force Enlisted Classification Directory, or the AFECD. You can Google it, or you can come on here and actually click the link and it'll take you to it. Now, what this is a breakout to every AFSC in the Air Force. It will actually give you a more detailed job description and all of the job requirements. So maybe you'll have to have letters of recommendation to apply for these jobs, or you'll actually have to complete a resume or job shadowing this will let you know. A lot of times it will also list the ASVAB requirement. So if it's been years since you've taken the ASVAB and maybe you need a higher score, this will tell you, but just know that you can retake the ASVAB, but it has to be completed before you apply for that job. So really good information. It'll definitely help you out. Now, once you've identified the jobs that you want to apply for, you would go back to retraining, and you can actually apply for retraining. Now, I've already completed the process, so I can't click on it and actually guide you through the steps. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure that you list the AFSCs that you're interested in order of preference. So obviously the one that you want the most, you would put on the top. You can have up to 5, and then once you apply, AFPC will check your eligibility, make sure that you meet all of those basic requirements, and then they will get back to you. They say within 20 duty days. Please be patient, but be proactive. And they'll let you know what jobs you're eligible for and what those requirements for the job are. So again, they're going to repeat what's in the AFECD. Get all of your paperwork and your documents together as quickly as possible and apply as soon as possible. Again, the sooner that you get your application in, the more jobs that will still be available for you. Now, the board will convene once a month at the end of the month. They'll take a look at your paperwork. They'll see if they want you to fill that job. So what they'll do is rack and stack you against the other applicants. Now, you can have referral EPRs in your package, but just know that you cannot have a referral EPR as your most recent in order to apply. So you want to make sure that that referral EPR, if you have one, and hopefully you don't, is not within the past year, specifically more 3 years. So just do your best to make sure that you have a passing PT test, that your EPRs are as strong as possible, no UIF. You want to make your package as competitive as possible. So I just went really quickly through all of the requirements for retraining. If you have any more questions, you can reach out to me. You can find me on Global. Reach out to your supervisor. Definitely reach out to your career assistance advisor. They're busy people, but they have a lot of good information for you. Now, I'm also going to link another YouTube video for you. Senior Master Sergeant Jenna Brooks from Barksdale Air Force Base, the career assistant advisor there, she put together this really in-depth, very detailed video about retraining. Highly recommend you watch it if you're interested in retraining. It'll definitely clarify a lot of the processes for you, and I wish you the best of luck.